Imagine, just for a moment, that somewhere out there across the vast silent ocean of stars, an alien civilization has been trying to reach us. Not for years, not for centuries, but for millions of years. They've sent signals. They've launched probes. Perhaps they've even pointed enormous telescopes in our direction, watching, waiting, hoping for a sign that they are not alone in the universe. And here's the strange, almost unbearable truth. Even if they exist, even if they're watching us right now, we may never meet them. Not because they don't want to find us, not because we aren't looking hard enough, but because of something far stranger, far crueler than distance itself. They are trapped not in a cage, not on a planet, not behind some cosmic wall. They are trapped in time, and so are we. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey that will change the way you think about aliens, about the universe, and about the very nature of now, because the reason we haven't found extraterrestrial life may have nothing to do with whether they exist. It may have everything to do with when they exist. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why the silence of the cosmos isn't really silence at all. It's something far more haunting. Asked, the illusion of now. Let's start with something simple. Something you take for granted every single day. The present moment. You're here, right now, listening to my voice. The world around you feels solid, immediate, real. The chair you're sitting on, the air you're breathing, the light hitting your eyes, it all feels like now. But here's the first uncomfortable truth. Nothing you are experiencing is actually happening now. When you look at the moon tonight, you are not seeing the moon as it is. You are seeing the moon as it was about 1.3 seconds ago. The light bouncing off its surface had to travel 238,000 miles to reach your eyes, and even at the impossible speed of light, that takes time. Look at the sun. You're seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. If the sun vanished this very instant, you wouldn't know for another 8 minutes. You'd keep going about your day, completely unaware that the star at the center of our solar system had blinked out of existence. Now look further. The nearest star beyond our sun, Proxima Centauri, is about 4.2 light-years away, meaning the light from it that you see tonight left that star over 4 years ago. You are looking at the past, always. And this is where things start to break down. Because if you cannot see anything in the universe as it actually is right now, then what does now even mean across cosmic distances? The answer, according to physics, is unsettling. There is no universal now. Not really. Not in the way we feel it. Einstein showed us that time is not a single ticking clock that the entire universe shares. Time bends. Time stretches. Time is local. Your now and the now of a being on a planet 1,000 light-years away are not the same thing, and they cannot be, no matter how hard we try to force them to be. This is the first crack in our understanding. And it's through this crack that the truth about aliens begins to leak in. The cosmic scale problem. Now, let's think bigger. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. That's not a typo. Hundreds of billions, and many of those stars have planets orbiting them, planets we are just now beginning to discover with telescopes like Kepler and James Webb. Scientists estimate that within our galaxy alone, there could be billions of planets in what we call the habitable zone, the region around a star where liquid water could exist. Liquid water, as far as we know, is a prerequisite for life. So the math seems obvious, doesn't it? Billions of chances, billions of opportunities for life to emerge, evolve, and even become intelligent. The probability that we are alone seems vanishingly small. This is where the famous Fermi Paradox enters the conversation, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who reportedly asked, over lunch one day, a deceptively simple question: where is everybody? If the universe is so vast, so old, so filled with potential homes for life, why have we never heard a single confirmed signal? Why has no spacecraft, no probe, no message in a bottle ever arrived at our doorstep? There are dozens of proposed answers. Some say we're alone, that life is so improbable, we are a one-in-a-universe accident. Others suggest the Great Filter, some catastrophic barrier that destroys civilizations before they can reach the stars. Still others believe we're being deliberately ignored, like ants in a forest the gods walk past without noticing. But there's another answer, one that doesn't get talked about enough. One that doesn't require aliens to be dead, hidden, or hostile. It only requires one thing, that they exist at the wrong time. AST3, the timing problem. Here's where the story gets uncomfortable. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Earth, our planet, is roughly 4.5 billion years old. Life on Earth began around 3.7 billion years ago, but for most of that time life was microbial, single-celled, invisible. Complex multicellular life only really exploded about 540 million years ago, during what we call the Cambrian explosion. Dinosaurs ruled for around 165 million years. They were wiped out 66 million years ago. Mammals rose. Primates evolved. And atomically modern humans? We've only been around for roughly 300,000 years. Civilization, agriculture, cities. Writing is about 10,000 years old. Radio technology, the very first way we could potentially send signals to the stars, that's barely 130 years old. Let me put that into perspective. If the entire history of the universe were compressed into a single calendar year, with the Big Bang on January 1st, then the dinosaurs went extinct on December 30th. All of recorded human history fits into the last 14 seconds before midnight on December 31st, and our ability to communicate across the stars is the final tenth of the final second. Now imagine an alien civilization. Imagine they followed a similar trajectory. They evolved, built cities, discovered radio waves, perhaps even mastered interstellar travel. How long would their civilization last? We don't know. But consider this. Humanity has had nuclear weapons for less than a century, and we've come terrifyingly close to ending ourselves more than once. Climate change, pandemics, technological collapse, any of these could end us before we ever leave our solar system in a meaningful way. If a civilization lasts only, say, 10,000 years before going extinct or transforming into something unrecognizable, then, in the 13.8 billion year history of the universe, that civilization is a flicker, a spark, a candle lit and snuffed in the dark. For two civilizations to meet, they don't just need to exist in the same galaxy, they need to exist in the same moment. And moment, on a cosmic scale, might mean a window of just a few thousand years out of billions. The chances of two flickers happening at the same instant, in roughly the same place, are almost incomprehensibly small. This is what I mean when I say aliens might be trapped in time. Not that they're frozen, not that they're imprisoned in some sci-fi sense, but that they exist in temporal pockets so narrow, so fleeting, that they will never overlap with ours. ACT-IVE, the light-speed prison. But the timing problem is only half of the cage. There's another wall to this prison, and it's made of something you cannot break, cannot bend, cannot bargain with, the speed of light. Light travels at roughly 186,000 miles per second. In a single second, a beam of light could circle the Earth 7.5 times. It is the fastest thing in our universe, and according to Einstein, nothing with mass can ever travel faster. This sounds fast. Until you remember that the universe is enormous. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is about 100,000 light-years across, meaning if you sent a radio signal from one end of our galaxy to the other, it would take 100,000 years to arrive. The nearest large galaxy, Andromeda, is 2.5 million light-years away. The observable universe stretches some 93 billion light-years across. Now imagine an alien civilization on a planet 1,000 light-years from Earth. Let's say they sent us a friendly hello, using radio waves. That signal would take 1,000 years to reach us. If we replied immediately, our response would take another 1,000 years to get back to them. A simple "Hey, how are you?" exchange would take 2,000 years. By the time they received our reply, the civilization that sent the original message might no longer exist. Their entire society could rise and fall in the time it takes for a single conversation to complete. And that's just 1,000 light-years. What about civilizations 10,000, 100,000, or 1,000,000 light-years away? Here's the haunting reality. When we look at distant galaxies through our telescopes, we are looking backward in time. The light from those galaxies left them millions, sometimes billions of years ago. If there were intelligent beings on a planet in a galaxy a billion light-years from us, the version of them we could theoretically detect would be a billion years out of date. They might have evolved, ascended, gone extinct, or transformed into something we cannot even comprehend in the time it took their light to reach us. And the reverse is true. Any civilization looking at Earth from far away is not seeing us. They might be seeing dinosaurs. They might be seeing primordial soup. They might be seeing nothing but a young molten planet still cooling from its formation. We are all looking at ghosts. And we are all, in some sense, ghosts ourselves to anyone who looks back. ACT, the expansion of Desper. If that wasn't enough, the universe has one more cruel trick up its sleeve. It's expanding. Not just expanding, accelerating in its expansion. Galaxies are flying away from each other faster and faster, driven by a mysterious force we call dark energy. And the further away a galaxy is, the faster it appears to recede. In fact, there are galaxies in the universe that are now moving away from us faster than the speed of light, not because they themselves are exceeding light speed, but because the space between us and them is stretching so rapidly. What does this mean? It means there are entire regions of the universe whose light will never reach us. Civilizations could be thriving there right now, building wonders, asking the same questions we ask, gazing at their night sky and wondering if anyone else is out there, and we will never know. Their signals will never arrive. The universe itself is putting them beyond our reach forever. And here's the part that really makes you stop and think. As the universe continues to expand, more and more galaxies will slip beyond this cosmic horizon. Billions of years from now, civilizations on Earth, if any still exist, might look up at a sky that is mostly empty. The other galaxies will have receded so far that their light will be permanently lost. Future astronomers might never know there was ever anything beyond their own galaxy. They might believe they are alone in a small, isolated universe, not realizing that once the cosmos was full of light. So if aliens are trapped in time, we are trapped along with them. The universe is sealing the doors one by one, and the longer we wait, the fewer rooms remain. Asectui, the lonely Midal. Let me pause here, because I think it's worth sitting with this for a moment. When we look up at the night sky, we feel a sense of wonder. We feel small, yes, but also connected, part of something vast and ancient. We imagine that somewhere on some distant world, another being is looking up at their sky and feeling the same thing. And maybe they are. Maybe they did. Maybe they will. But the chances that we are looking up at the same time, in the same cosmic moment, are achingly small. Civilizations may rise and fall in the dark, never knowing about each other. The universe could be bustling with life across billions of years, full of voices, full of stories, full of dreams, and yet each one might be utterly alone in its own bubble of time. This is the loneliness the Fermi Paradox doesn't quite capture. It's not that the universe is empty, it's that the universe is full, but out of sync. Imagine a grand concert hall, where musicians from every era come to play: medieval composers, classical pianists, jazz musicians, electronic artists from the future. Each one plays their masterpiece. But they all play in different rooms, on different nights, and no one is ever in the audience at the same time as the performer. The music never stops, but no one ever hears it together. That is the universe we live in. And that may be the universe that aliens, wherever and whenever they are, also live in. Dobp. 7. A fiend signal of hope. But I don't want to leave you in despair, because despite everything I've said, there is hope. Strange, fragile, almost mystical hope. Some scientists believe that if a civilization can survive long enough, if it can master sustainable energy, avoid self-destruction, and develop truly advanced technology, it might be able to overcome these temporal barriers, not by breaking the laws of physics, but by working with them in ways we can't yet imagine. There are speculative ideas, concepts like Dyson spheres, where civilizations harvest the entire energy output of their star. Self-replicating probes called von Neumann probes that could spread across the galaxy automatically without needing to send back signals. Or even more exotic possibilities, wormholes, quantum entanglement-based communication, or methods of preserving consciousness across cosmic timescales. If such civilizations exist, they may have found ways to leave messages that endure. Time capsules embedded in the structure of solar systems, patterns hidden in the cosmic background radiation, artifacts left on moons, asteroids, or in the rings of distant gas giants waiting, patient, for someone to find them. Some scientists even speculate that the very laws of physics themselves might be a kind of message, that the strange fine-tuned constants of our universe, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, might contain encoded information from civilizations long past. A wild idea, yes. But the universe is wilder than we imagine. And there's another possibility, one I find particularly beautiful. What if we are not the latecomers, but the early ones? What if humanity is among the first intelligent species to emerge in our galaxy? In that case, we are not searching for the lost civilizations of the past. We are the ancestors, the ones who, perhaps, will leave messages for those who come after us. Imagine that. Imagine that one day, billions of years from now, an alien astronomer points their telescope at the patch of sky where Earth used to be and detects a signal, a deliberate, patient signal we left behind. A whisper across the eons that says, "We were here. We thought of you. You are not alone." That is the kind of hope that endures. That is the kind of hope that reaches across the prison of time. AST8, the Interstellar reality check. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a profound shift in perspective. The question is no longer simply, are we alone? The question becomes, are we alone in this moment? And the honest answer is probably yes. Not because life is rare, not because aliens don't exist, but because the universe is so unimaginably vast in both space and time that the chances of two civilizations sharing a moment of connection are vanishingly small. This is the interstellar reality check, the cold, beautiful, humbling truth. Aliens may be trapped in time, just as we are. They may have looked at their sky and felt the same wonder, the same loneliness, the same longing. They may have sent messages we will never receive. They may receive messages we will never send. We are all flickers in the dark, each of us briefly luminous, each of us asking the same questions into a cosmos that is too large and too old to answer in time. And yet, and this is what I want you to hold on to, we are here, right now, conscious, aware, asking. That in itself is an extraordinary thing. To be part of the universe, looking back at itself, even for a moment, is a kind of miracle no equation can fully capture. Maybe the point was never to find aliens. Maybe the point was to realize what it means that we are looking, that we care, that we, this fragile species on a small blue planet, ever bother to wonder. Cake. Losing, the final thug. So tonight, when you go outside, look up. Look up at the stars, and remember, every point of light you see is a message from the past, a photon that has traveled for years, decades, centuries to arrive in your eyes at this exact moment. You are the destination of an ancient journey. And somewhere, perhaps, on a planet circling one of those stars, another being is looking back. Not at you, because the light hasn't reached them yet, but at the place where you will one day be, or where you once were. Two strangers, separated by oceans of time, looking for each other across the dark. Maybe they will never find us. Maybe we will never find them. But the search itself, the looking, the wondering, the hoping, that is something the universe could not give itself without us. The stars are silent. But the silence, I think, is not empty. It's full of voices we just haven't learned to hear yet. If this video made you think, made you feel something, made you look up at the night sky a little differently, stay with me. There's so much more to explore. So many more questions waiting in the dark. Because the truth about the universe isn't just out there. It's also in here, in the questions we dare to ask. Until next time, keep looking up.